Hi everybody, Steve and Jim here.
Morning.
Once again, heading to the store, but right now I thought we would talk about, I wanted to ask Jim something about gas prices. We passed the gas station where he gets gas every week, and I wasn't sure if he still got gas there or if he got gas where I get gas, which is I think the lowest price gas here in Palm Springs. It's called Tower Market and Gas. And last week I filled up and it was, I think, about $30 or so, and the price for regular gas was, I think it was $4.35. And you were saying that, no, what's the name of your gas station? It's Quick Mart, or?
No, it's that Circle K now, I think.
Okay, Circle K. And the gas we just passed, it said it was $4.39.
$4.39 for credit, $4.29 for cash.
Oh, okay. Do you pay cash or credit?
I use the credit card. I put everything on the credit card.
Yeah, it's hard to go in because then you got to tell them what you think you're going to put in, because you never know, exactly how much it's going to be. It's kind of a hassle. I guess if you're going into the store anyway to buy coffee or something, then it's no problem. But we don't buy anything.
It's just easier for me to keep track of things if I put it on things on a credit card as opposed to cash.
Well, that's true, and we both have credit cards where we get cash back for our purchases, so it makes more sense to use the credit card because we actually get a little bit of money back. But the point of this video is I was thinking about gas prices here. They've come down quite a bit, almost maybe $1 since last year, but they're still really high. $4.35, $4.39 is still really high. We used to think that $3.50 was outrageously high just a couple years ago. It's still high, but what I wanted to ask you is how often do you fill up each month? Do you fill up once a month? I mean, I'm sure it varies like me a little bit. But,
yeah, I mean, if I'm just going like what we're doing now, if I go out for breakfast once a week and do our weekly shopping once a week, I can usually go a month, but I fill up when it's still half full.
Okay, but you're always doing that, so you're still putting in a full, or are you only putting in a half a tank of gas a month?
Generally.
Well, see, I guess now I don't know. Now you got me thinking.
Like certain times of the year when I have to go down to the other end of the valley for doctor's appointments or whatever. I mean, if I'm driving further like that, then it may cost me a little more, but generally, I haven't filled up like in three weeks so far, and I still probably have 3/4 of a tank.
All right, so you're saying that you only fill up a half a tank of gas a month?
Yeah, and that's still about $35.
How large is your tank?
I don't know if it's about like 15, 16 gallons.
I don't know what my tank is. I think maybe it's only 8 gallons or 9 gallons, because I fill it up, and so maybe we're using the same amount of gas, but my tank is half the size of yours.
Yeah, because I usually put 7 to 8 gallons in, and at 8 gallons at $4 a gallon is $32.
Yeah, and I think I spent like $31, $32 the other day. And so I just thought maybe since we're going to keep track of our groceries, maybe we'll also keep track of our gas. And so as retirees now, we don't drive very much at all. And I just go out to do errands, doctor appointments. I don't know, maybe if I go to a neighborhood where I want to go walk, I do a lot of walking in different neighborhoods. But yeah, I'm pretty much, unless I'm taking a trip like when we went to San Francisco or something, but just driving around here in Palm Springs and in and around the Coachella Valley area here, I only fill up with gas once a month, and I spend around $30, $35, $40 for gas. So that still comes to over $1 a day, which seems like a lot for gas for retirees who hardly ever drive, right?
Yeah.
So we're at the store now, but I guess that means in retirement, we're spending about $60 to $80 a month on gas total between us?
Maybe, probably closer to the 60 end, and that would be a pretty busy month.
Yeah, okay, so about $60.
When I was working, I didn't work that far away. When you were working, it probably cost you a lot more.
Yeah. So we're spending about $60 a month for gas now that we're retired and don't drive much. So I was curious to know if our experience was the same as yours. So I posted a poll on the community page of my YouTube channel, and I asked the question, do you drive your car or vehicle more or less now that you are retired? And 260 of you responded. You took the poll, and I guess I'm not really surprised to find out that your experience is pretty similar to ours. Those of you who responded that you drive more were 13%, and those of you responding that you drive less, like we do, was 87%. I assumed the response would be something similar to this, but, I hate to assume, so I thought it'd be better just to ask and find out for sure, because sometimes I am wrong in my assumptions. But I was curious about the 13%, because in a way I would have thought it would have even been lower, maybe 5% or even 1% wouldn't have surprised me. So 35 of you left comments, so I'm going to read some of those comments, and some of the comments were from those of you who do drive more now. So let me read some of those comments to you. They're pretty interesting. Chipster62 says, some weeks, believe it or not, is under 20 miles if I even drive that. Tartan Texan 007 commented, my husband and I have a car each, but we now mainly use his since we go most places together. I do like the freedom of having my own car though. I need to go to my part-time job 2 days a week, and also if I meet up with friends. I don't put too many miles on it a year though. It's a luxury I won't give up anytime soon. Virginia Caston 1456 says, I drive less. But since my daughter doesn't have a car, I let her drive my vehicle to go back and forth to work. She also lives with me. Okay, so they're getting more mileage because the daughter is now using the car. Nubicep65, and I hope I am pronouncing that correctly, says, a lot less. Used to commute 100 miles round trip a day, 5 times a week. Now I drive about 600 miles a month, sometimes less. Leisure057-3 says, I drive more. Before I was locked up in a building for 9 to 10 hours a day. Now I am free to drive all over. So that's interesting to hear. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Now that you're retired and you have more time. Linda in 9NS says, good morning, Steve. Less for me. And Todd Tropical says, used to be way less until I started this part-time job at the butcher shop, but it's just 8 miles away. So it's not bad. Grocery stores are actually all walking distance. That's awesome. If I want to use my giddy-up legs. And it's just a couple of bags, of course. The Focused Freebird says less. In fact, thinking of eliminating this expense in a few more years and use bus, light rail, or Uber as needed. My area is also somewhat walkable. That's pretty awesome. Not everybody has that. We sure don't here in Palm Springs. Megan Ingersoll says, I've always driven a lot since I don't fly, and I was born and raised in upstate New York. You had to drive. I love to drive. 9 Lives Lisa says, I drive a whole lot less now that I'm not working. It's nirvana. Laugh out loud. Alan 9069 says, so much less. Drove about 20 miles a day when working, now maybe 20 miles per week, if that. Chesabug says, less also. I'm so glad I don't have to fight the traffic or snow anymore. William Bill 5172 says, I voted less because due to my severe back issues, I had to give up driving. But if I still drove, it would definitely be yes because I never really enjoyed it anyway and only drove for convenience. Robert Foss says, I had a company car, Steve, so unfortunately putting more miles on my own car in retirement. Okay, that's an excellent reason. I hadn't thought about that, but I bet there's quite a few people who are now in that situation. Marlene Pearson, 3936, says, I can't afford a car and was never much of a driver, so I depend on a friend. Von B or Von Eb, Vonnie B, I'm not really sure how to pronounce their name, 7260, says, I drive less and we went down to 1 car. I love being home and doing all the things I enjoy. I have noticed one thing that frankly irks me. Oh, I'm going to actually save this for a future video. It's a very good comment, so feel free to pause and read it if you want, but I'm going to save this for a future video. So below Vaughn's comment is Thomas Industrious, who says, I work from home, so I have more time to drive now. That definitely makes sense. Galaxy has sweat stains. It says, I have more doctor appointments now that I'm older, going through menopause, grocery store trips, paying bills, kids need to go to the doctor, so I feel like I am in the car more. Okay, so thank you to all of you who left comments. Those are all very interesting and a few things I hadn't thought about before. So how about those of you watching and who didn't take this poll? Do you drive more or less now that you're retired? Or if you haven't retired yet, do you anticipate driving more or less once you're retired? Share with us in the comments. So, all right, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.